Okay, namaste, great souls. Always wonderful to be here. I'm going to grab my notes. So we were just checking in, talking about, well, a big part of when we practice yoga together, it is about remembering who we truly are. We are this soul, already whole, already free, already aware. And the breath practices help us with the inspiration, the exhalation, the letting go. And so to take what yogis always knew and Buddhists and bring it into the popular psychology of neuroscience, which is wonderful, most of us need to work with up-leveling when our attention, not to get it into that negative groove, that brain groove that's repeating the negative thought loops, and to move it to a higher place. Now that sounds easy, and it actually is easy. It's just having it in the consciousness as creating a habit about it. So we want to work with the heart chakra today, and we'll be doing a lot of heart opening techniques. And with that heart opening can bring up griefs, losses, tenderness. We want to always bring compassion, but in that process, there can be, stuff coming out, which we want. And we want that to come out, and we want to bring it higher to our spiritual eye. Think of that needle, Yogananda calls it the needle of attention. Upward climb the living tree, a heart to the cosmic symphony. So we want to get stuck, and that could be a mantra you say, or that may be a little not your thing, but whatever it is, when you catch yourself in that negative loop, that's a good thing, because you're going to use the awareness to go, okay, a modern way to say it would be let it go, let it go, let it go. And they've studied these things. For 2 minutes, you need to do the opposite. So you catch yourself down that negative loophole of, how many things it could be, somebody that's hurt you, betrayed you, etc. And then if you choose to practice, which I know you're all here and want to, we might say something as simple as let it go. Some people will say let God. That's one part of it, is letting go and going to the higher, either the crown or the spiritual eye. You may even want to tap. You may even want to tap in your heart, bilateral tapping them below the collarbone, where grief and loss. This is from emotional freedom technique. There's more to it. There's 8 major points, but you can tap right here. And then you want to make sure not only to let it go, but then to put in that higher truth, which is it. Like, for example, in yoga, we could say, I am free. I am free. Blessed Spirit, I am free. Something that speaks to your soul, to your heart, to catch the negative looping. This, it's usually, we're usually grinding on stories that, we're pretty familiar with and we're kind of tired of. And we want to be free in that. I can only speak for me. I want to be free in this lifetime. I don't want to end my life with, these negative patterns that I have to come back in the yoga world and incarnate and free myself up. So let's work on our freedom. Let's work on letting go. It's not like we just meditated the beginning of the day, the end of the day. There's all this stuff in between our life, and we want to focus. We want to look for the good, the innate good within us. We want to see a flower, not only enjoy the flower, but where's that flower coming from? It's coming from a deeper creative, whatever that spirit world creation is to you. So you see people, and you look at you could tune into their spiritual eye. You could see the deeper in whatever form. I'm getting
not muted.
Oh, okay. I'm getting a couple of people not muted. Okay, well, we'll just go with it.
She makes noise. She comes on the screen.
Okay, so Michelle, if you make noise or there's noise, it's going to come on the screen. That's the information I'm getting from my dear husband who's tracking this stuff. So I think that's enough talking about it. And a lot will be the practicing of coming back to who we are and up leveling ourselves and finding maybe quotes or things that help you or chanting that help you like uplift. It could be as simple as, again, I'm repeating myself, letting go, letting God, going higher, I am free. I want to forgive those that have offended me. We'll get into that a little bit later. Forgiveness is a big piece of this for ourselves and for others, compassion to ourselves and compassion to others. Okay, let's get started with the movement. I'll come back onto the mat. All righty. Open up a little bit more here. So I want to plug in my friend Katie, who does beautiful flowers. It's called Moonlight Blooms, and it's quite fun. And she seeds and grows her flowers from the seed and has flower parties and also contributes to assisted living places. The people that join her also benefit not only receiving their own flowers, but the money goes into flowers for assisted living participants. That's wonderful. Okay, so here we are. Let's bring those shoulders up, down, and around. We're talking about heart chakra. The tension of the needle of our mind going upward. Going upward. It's an ongoing practice. We know that. We're going to take first just a breath, maybe your hand on the belly, maybe your hands palms up or grounding palms down. And just breathe into the belly, the fullness of the belly. If it's been a stressful week, a stressful morning, big exhale through the mouth. If it's been medium stress, exhale through the nostrils. Let's do 3 full yogic breaths now. Connecting the breath in the belly to the breath in the heart. Letting go, letting go, letting go. Tension in the body, of negative loopholes and that happen, negative thinking in the mind. Catching those moment to moment. And replacing those as you continue to breathe with some type of mantra that works for you. I am free, I am free. And remembering my spirit, I am free. Using the will, using the affirmation to ungroove those negative patterns. In fact, we can set the intention that we are coming back to wholeness, and throughout our practice, let's just take it in our practice and maybe throughout the day to catch those negative loops and replace them with more higher consciousness. Not denying, it's not bypassing, we could do the work on the self, but for now, let's just work on the heart of letting go. So we'll add some movement now. So we are extending the fingertips and we're going to reach out and expand the heart chakra. Open those wings of joy. Open through the back, front, sides of the chest. Side to side, opening side to side. Turning the palms up. Notice the difference there. As we inhale and allow the energy to draw up above the crown. Soften the shoulders a bit by bending the elbows. And then coming into, as we tap the crown, tap the spiritual eye, we're coming into our lotus flower mudra. A little bit closer, the thumbs and the little pinky come together. The other fingers open like a flower. So that could be something you could do. You can literally do mudra for a breath or two. Transform. Negative thinking. Neuropsych says it takes 2 weeks of committed practice to ungroove that loop in the brain, which is pretty good news, I think. All right, let's interlock now and round the spine. Tucking the chin to the hollow of the throat. Inhale, breath of joy. Come back to our joy coaster, lengthening up again. Soften the shoulders, bend the elbows, feel the space all around you. Take your time. Because we're going to add, as we reach behind us, either the fingertips and the heart lifts, or if possible, interlocking and squeezing and the soaking as you go up. And then releasing out again. Those wings of joy. We're going to add a twist from the core, twisting toward the left, floating your arms down. Maybe bringing the right hand on the left knee or out in front of you, twisting negativity out, letting go. Inhale, I am free. Exhale, twisting out. And perhaps in your meditation practice, maybe it's not some big past problem, but we could, planning, thinking, analyzing, mind looping. You just let go, come back to this moment of the breath. It is that simple. It can feel more complicated. And bringing in that love and compassion as we open up. And twist to the other side, from the left corner of the abdomen to the right. Keeping the heart wide now before the hands descend, chin parallel, and the suture of the class. This is so great for cleansing, for letting go, and inhaling. What do you want to bring in? Most likely those spiritual qualities of peace, freedom, joy. Letting go. Perhaps bring in unconditional love, forgiveness, whatever it is you want to work on. I'm putting out a lot here. You would not. You would keep it to one or two choices to keep it easy, more succinct. Bringing our hands back to that lotus mudra. Shoulders soften. We know the lotus grows out of the mud, out of the muck, into the light of spiritual awareness, and back to wholeness. Okay, then let's bring our ring, our middle, our index finger together. And being aware of the hands, we can have a gentle focus here as we move into our cat-cow stretch. So getting your props all set up. So just a little bit differently how we could do the same pose but have a slight different focus. We'll change it. What we want to do is we want to lightly press into have the softness at the fingertips. So you're not pressing down through the base of the fingers as they usually cue, but we're just a couple times on our fingertips and our thumb tips. And inviting that softness in as we inhale, scoop out below, mid, upper back, and then exhale, rounded spine. Really letting go on those exhales. Inhale, scooping out again, low, mid, upper back, high heels up. And at your pace, at your timing, exhale. Drawing in to love and acceptance, kindness and compassion. Now notice the difference when you plant the hands down, press through the base of the fingers and scoop it out. Inhale, and we take it in, and let it go. Now, when we come to neutral spine, we'll do those circles in the hips, bending the elbows, flowing in a way that feels good to you. Maybe circle 8. Returning to the inspiration. In spirit, inspiration. Now we're going to lift up off the knees. Hover. And pour back. Press through the base of the fingers. And shred it out. Take your time, easing from side to side. Feel the sound of the breath vibrating through you and the healing power of spirit radiating through every cell of your body, every fiber of your being. That could be your affirmation. The healing power of spirit radiates through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. Widen the toes. Magnetize the heart toward the thighs. Feel the space between each vertebra. We're going to start with the classics, just coming into our plank. And then not collapsing belly or head. Bring one forearm down, then the other. Reach into the heels, strength and flexibility. And then we come on to the top of the thighs. And just take a moment here in what's called Sphinx, with the elbows slightly in front of the shoulders, and lengthen up and feel that Sphinx, feel that opening of the beginning of the back bend. Recharging the spine, opening the heart to love and acceptance. So again, the other side is this, we still have boundaries, we still do all that stuff, but in our time here, we're cleansing, we're releasing. And now we're going to take our mini cobra. So again, side to side, flexing and flowing. We're going to come onto those fingertips again. Just how we change one thing will maybe have a little shift in the brain, shift in the consciousness to the softness, to the tender heart, even though it's strong, you know. We're going to press the pubic bone down, press the tops of the feet into the earth. Inhale, pulse it out. Mini cobra, Bhujangasana. Don't let the shoulders come up like that. Down. So you feel weight in the fingertips. And then we ease. Do this 3 times. Rising up with that compassionate heart. That compassionate heart to our own thoughts and thinking and looping. Letting go. Letting God. I am free. One more time, engaging. Feel how those legs are engaged, the arm, the spine, and everything's engaged here. And then melting down, resting at the spiritual eye, and with the intention of feeling the full yogic breath on our bellies, supported by the earth, softening the shoulders. Yogananda says the purpose of existence is to return to your soul nature, to remember the truth of who you are. See that, how that resonates or not with you, or anything in between. And then we're going to come up into our, we did the fingertip cobra. We took a moment in Sphinx. Now we're going to, if you choose, come up into full cobra. And the same principle, pressing through the tops of the feet as we inhale, rise up, take the stay. And exhale, sticking out the tongue, eye gaze up, lion's breath. We are cleansing the stuff out, the gunk out. Feel where you can engage even more. And looking over one shoulder, looking over its opposite, and then taking your time to draw the navel in, I'm gonna reverse what we just did there. Turn the toes under, hover off the knees, and pour back into your downward facing dog. Notice pressing into the thumb index finger, what that does. Keep the head, maybe you want to shake out the head a little bit more. Keep the head, neck go. Not overthinking. Keeping it, keeping coming back to the innate goodness, to the healing power of spirit radiating through every cell of your body. If you want to ripple, you're welcome to every fiber of your being. Okay. From here, Uttanasana, stepping one foot forward, then the other, and then walking the hands towards your feet. And if you want to massage the scalp, relaxing and casting aside unnecessary mental burdens, especially at the back of the neck, the ego jam there. The negative pole of the ego, the positive is at the spiritual eye. So we loosen all the gunk. Mind. Relaxing, casting aside any unnecessary mental burdens. Any extra stuff we don't need. If I gently can do that as well. And then we know what's next. We ripple. Your spine's okay. You can ripple up forward. I usually generally do a Uttanasana 50 and older because of the whole osteoporosis that can happen with the spine. So we lengthen and strengthen. We reach back. And we sweep up halfway. Root down. It's meant to be strong. What are we slicing out? You can do that. You can literally slice out that mental yuck. Or if it's connected to some past history. Working on letting go. Working on bringing in perhaps compassion, forgiveness. You decide as we reach up. You want to clean. Most likely, right? I don't like to speak for myself. Exhale. Feel the space all around you. Get really wide through the heart again. Take your time. Expand those wings. Let the arms float down. And then rooting down. I probably don't emphasize this enough, but press into the large toes of both feet, the inner border of the feet, the inner heel, and then go, stay with that, and then go to the outer heel, outer edge of the foot, little toe. So it's like a horseshoe, rooted and grounded. You really feel, right, the legs by getting all those points of connectivity through the support of the earth and connection ourselves to. That's it, something much bigger, the earth, the sky, the sun, the moon. So if you don't have a deity practice or that type of spiritual practice, there's so much with the space all around us, the beauty all around us. We come back to our lotus, to our opening the lotus. Breathing into the heart while we're rooted and grounded through the feet. And then we tap to the spiritual eye. We tap to the crown. We offer prayers and cares for others. We bring others onto our mat for healing. It's not only ourselves we're healing here in our bodies and our minds, although that's very important. But because it starts there. But then we lengthen and grow and offer anybody that's, calling your heart right now, who may be struggling in some way, that needs some extra support. Bring them into your mind's eye, into your heart center as we fold forward, hinging at the hips. Big exhale. Bending both knees, stepping our right foot back. I'm going to highly recommend a blanket here for the knee. We're going to do a little bit of a different lunge, okay? So that right knee is back. Let's hydrate first. Let's just go side to side. Good. Unthaw those tight hips. Then here's a different kind of lunge that I usually use. So the back toes turn under, we're coming up. If it's hard to balance, walk this left foot out to the side. If this is too much, you could go into a Jani Shirshasana and do this one, make it work for you. And we're going to add our half moon in our lunge. So what does that mean? That means as our tailbone draws down and our feet are touching the earth, the points of the feet that are, we reach our arms up. We clasp the right wrist. We let the hips lower down just a little bit to arc over to the left. And in our lunge with strong legs, we're affirming strength and courage. Fill my body cells. Strength and courage. Fill my body cells. Takes a lot to balance, even though we're on 2 feet. In our half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. And then exhale, feel that strength and courage of the heart. And with that strength and courage, we know this, anytime we've tried something new, we're not like, there's usually a vulnerability to that. It's like, I'm not sure, a little scary. So both are playing the vulnerability. That's the other side of it, and the strength and courage. So being compassionate to it all, and then releasing down. When we come down, we'll do the Ardha Hanumanasana, that hamstring stretch, peeling the left toes back. If you can, drop that left hip down, maybe the right hand toward the toes, forward folded. Compassion, of course, to that vulnerability. That's the much tender part of the heart. I mean, I don't know about you, I love the strength and courage, right? That feels great. But then the tenderness, most of us need to cultivate compassion for those places of vulnerability that are usually playing before our net, something new we're doing, some getting out into something different. It could be fear and vulnerability, and most likely is. And then release and soften. Well, not so much soften. We want to kind of pour through. We want to lift the belly, the heart, the crown. And then the back toes turn under, lift the knee, we step it back to plank. And that strength, we step the right foot out to the outside of the mat for a moment, and then back, and then the left for a moment, and then back, and either knee, chest, chin, chaturanga, or classic chaturanga. So you decide. Coming down onto the ground again. I'm moving my blanket out a little bit. Not quite resting fully yet. We're coming back to that Sphinx. Elbows slightly in front of the shoulders, legs strong. I want you to feel 5 breaths here, how much engagement happens with the Sphinx. So without moving your elbows, bringing your elbows in toward the hips. So engage in the upper body. Engaging the legs. The bone touches tops of the feet. Feel the back bone, feel the rising energy. Feel all the chakras opening, those lotus petals, and all the chakras expanding in every back bone, and reaching for the light of this day, the light of this moment. Rising upward. Meet and greet. And stay looking beyond that flower. We enjoy the flower, we enjoy the tree, but what's creating that? What's behind all that? Then we come back to our full cobra. That's in your practice. Couple breaths here. Shoulders away from the ears, and you guessed it, opposite to down. Cobra is down dog. Going up and back. letting it out. Taking your time. You get as creative, flow, stable, whatever your body needs right now. So know that. The healing power of spirit is radiating through every cell of your body, every fiber of your being. When you let go, negative looping, we acknowledge it, we say it out loud, letting go. And then we bring in the higher healing power of spirit. That could be your mantra, is radiating through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. Stepping one foot forward, then the other, walking the hands back. This time walking over to your little toe side of the right foot, bending the knee. Stepping through that left side, lunar, witness, observer. Big freedom place. And then coming back. Over to the left little toe side of the foot, down the left knee, extend through the outer right hip. Solar doer. Appreciating both. The energy behind the doer, that's the key there. It's not just the ego, it's something deeper. That's in your blood, in your heart. As we bend the knees, the love in your heart. As we sweep the arms back, sweeping forward, rooting for those outer inner points of the feet, slicing through resistances, whatever that is for you, and the love of the heart, compassion. Rise up and taking your time to feel the space all around you, slower than we usually do, into the center of the arms. And I'm really getting into the ground and the roots, the inner large toes, or the inner arches and inner heel, and then that horseshoe shape around to the outside. And to the little toe sides of the feet. Back to our lotus mudra. Thumbs, no finger touching. Sensing your own heart, sensing into the other person or persons you're sending healing energy to. We've got the lunge, half moon to the other side in our flow. So we're tapping the spiritual eye, the crown, our higher centers. Definitely want to tap into those, especially when dealing with negative loopholes. Exhale, sweeping, hinging forward. Let me see, I like it. Into a forward fold. Inhale. And we're going to step the opposite foot forward. So the right foot comes forward in our lunge. Do a little shimmy shake here. And down onto that back knee. To set up for our lunge half moon. So much is going on here. Back left toes turn under. We come upright. Maybe walk that right foot out to the side. Maybe use blocks. Come up. Tailbone down, a little bit forward, not too much, so that when we sweep the arms out to the side, we are going to clasp the left wrist and arc it over to the side. So make sure you're doing the opposite. Strength and courage fill my body cells. Strength and courage fill my body cells. Just know the flip side of strength and courage is that vulnerability. You're bringing compassion. You're trying something different. Strength and courage, fill my body cells. Inhale, lengthen up. And then bending at the elbows, squeeze and soak. Reach behind. Open the heart even more or arms wide. Very strong, literally gaining strength in our body as we come down into our Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. Heel the right toes back, draw that right hip down, hold over, maybe use your left hand to help out. Good exhale, big letting goes. When you catch yourself, add that let go, add sound to it. Add visceralness perhaps to it. Sometimes we can, catch it, we're catching the mind, mental and the physical, I know works well for me as I'm changing patterns, grooves. And 2 minutes on the opposite side when you catch that negative, okay? You put the 2 minutes of that where you're going. I am free. I am free. Blessed Spirit, I am free. You can have prayer, help me to be free. So spiritually, when we're changing grooves, we want to use will, affirmation. We want to use reason, our mind, and then we talked about maybe adding devotion and the prayer. So sometimes devotional prayer, if it's hard for you, just on your own, and that will and reason part, we ask for help about that. Okay, so we're hinging side to side. And then we're turning the back. We're turning the back toes under if they're not already. We're coming off that knee just to allow the heart for a moment, the belly, the heart, the crown to expand upright. Mine just hit so much. We walk that hand inside. It goes on the outside. And we're going to step it back this time to our down dog. Pulling back. You got this. Such a great all over body shift. I'm moving my mat out. Blanket. Notice where you're pressing into the fingers. The base of the fingers extend all the way through the fingertips of the thumb. Lifting the head. Letting go. And opening to the healing power of spirit. All right. As we ripple, we're rippling and we're stepping forward one and stepping forward the other, walking the hands back, this time bending the knees and seeing if we can interlock. If not, we can have the hands by the side. Head bowing to the wisdom of the heart. And there's a compression, of course, here. And then there's an inhalation, the surge of energy coming up, sweeping up. Legs have to be strong for that one. Theme today of the heart chakra, feeling front, back, sides of the heart. The arms are extension of our heart, right? What we do with our hands is connected to our heart, rooting through those inner and outer points of the feet. Back to the lotus mudra. Make sure the shoulders soften, chin parallel. Really breathe fully into the amazing ability to love, to give, to forgive. And I know everybody's at a different place with that, but we want freedom. Forgiveness is part of it. And I'll bring in an affirmation a little bit later. There's many ways, many affirmations for that. But just tune in now, just see, okay, who is in your psyche you're still holding on to, or the situation. Usually got one or two people in there. I know we'll be working on that for our highest self, for freedom within, to release that toxic out of our own system and to be free ultimately. Okay, let's do our just a couple standing warrior poses. Let's go peaceful warrior. Now, I think of the strength of the warrior, of course, but there it is in yoga, Virabhadrasana 2. I don't highlight it probably enough. It is a peaceful warrior. So it's a peaceful warrior. The right toes are out to the side. It's strong, and the right knee bends over that second toe. The tailbone draws down. There's a step forward tendency. We're trying to stack those shoulders and the hips in alignment. Then notice when we get that radiant energy of expansion, very strong and expansive peaceful warrior. Move down a little bit more. Sense the difference when the palms reach up. And those lotus petals are going to come up above the head. So as we inhale, so just having just a shift, same poses we're doing, of course, in yoga, but a different shift of the fingertips in lotus mudra. Open through the crown, exhale, opening up, looking over the right fingertips. Okay, let's inhale, let's expand our lotus, our ability to give and forgive yourself and others. Huge in the world of freedom. Inhale, opening up, holding over the right fingertips. One more time, if you can. I get it. If you need to come out, just come in a triangle maybe. Inhale, strong and peaceful. It takes strength to be that peaceful warrior, to truly, truly forgive. And probably, we'll go back and forth on it, but keeping the intention of staying with that needle deeper. We're going to open up now, continue with our left hand by our left knee, and then we come over. Let's straighten that leg. We can use a block. We'll bring it over here for a triangle. I'm pretty wide here, so I'm going to step it in. I was going to grab a block, but I'm going to place my hand down, stack those shoulders, open to the joy kosha. Open to energy and joy. Fill my body cells. I'm adding mudra, thumb, index finger together. What we're doing, returning back to our true nature. And in our true nature is joy, is the joy kosha, energy and joy. Fill my body cells. Excellent. With it, maybe one more time, maybe not, as we take our transition into pyramid. So I'm going to bend that right knee, step the left foot forward a bit, and right hip back. Again and again, bowing to the wisdom of the heart. Head, when our head and heart are connected, there isn't that confusion that can happen in the throat chakra. So breathe that ujjayi sound into the throat chakra, clearing any confusions out, or if there are there, just being compassionate with what they are, noticing what they are. Entertainment. Apply the medicine. Apply the thought. Be real with what the stuckness is. And then soften the knee. Now we're going to transition. We're going to reach back to with our arms to lift up. Beautiful flowers, really emanating from coming forward into our Virabhadrasana 2, peaceful warrior, to the other side. Take your time. I'm going to bring my block over because I didn't have it for the triangle on the other side. Okay. All right, here we go. Tracking our left knee over that second toe. Up and forward, we're drawing down, tailbone slightly down, shoulders lined up with the hips as best as you can. Ooh, start with the palms down, root, ground. Notice the difference with the palms turn up, a lightness, even though the legs continue to be strong. Why can the heart be peaceful? The roots are strong. Inhale, lotus mudra above the crown. Exhale, space all around you, looking over at the left fingertips. The affirmation in this pose, I joyfully manifest the power of the divine. Individual self connecting to something much greater. It's animating our forms, it's animating these flowers, these trees, this air all around us. Joyfully manifest the power of the divine. Aware of that, aware of creation, expansion. We get stuck when we're in the little knee, right? I know, well, if you can't do 3, go ahead. If it's time to straighten out and do something else, feel free. Listen to your body, of course. Opening to the side. Watch that knee doesn't pop forward. Coming up. That's pretty wide, so I'm going to step my back foot in. And then I'm going to reach over in Trikonasana. Gonna collapse the torso. I'm using my block on this side, upright, like this. Can help a lot to get the physical alignment. Mudra, index finger. Opening to energy and joy. Fill my body cells. Open to the joy kosha. Stay here. Stay here. And they're so great to open to the joy kosha. Fill my body cells. Never leave it. The shoulders, it opens the heart, opens the arms and the hands, the connection of the heart chakra. Reaching up. And then from here, we're going to come forward in our pyramid. Turn the toes, both feet to face the same direction. Maybe walk the feet a little bit wider to get over. Really allow your mind to drop into the wisdom of the heart. The flow, the life force, the prana, the breath. So a quote from Yogananda, the blood in my body is God. The reason in my mind is God. The love in my heart is God. Goddess, creation, everything that exists is coming from the divine. We're going back to the source within ourselves. We're going back to the source within all of life. Soften the knee, turn your back toes 30 degrees. Let's rise it up here. And do one more standing pose. Well, let's take a moment. In our theme today, the lotus heart mudra. Wide through the heart, strong through the legs, radiating down. Toes slightly turned in to go into Prasarita Padottanasana. So you'll know if it's possible for your body, when we open our heart wide, if the hands want to come behind you, or if they're able to interlock, or you can use a strap. Squeeze and soak. And open as we hinge forward. Take your time. Forward fold. So, heavy exhale, the crown of the head toward the earth. Every inhale, the knuckles to the sky.
literally getting all the junk out of the back of the heart. That's where we hold a lot of the stuff of our life history. And those old stories, I mean, they were real. I'm not taking that away. But if you want freedom, forgiveness is part of it. It's a big part of it as we release the hands and self-protection and not putting yourself in the train tracks again, but you are consciously letting go. Now, when we bring our hands, our wrists underneath the shoulders, I'm going to walk my feet out wider. So the crown draws toward the earth, perhaps, freedom in the neck. And then maybe the hands walk between the legs, palms down. So we do that squeeze and soak of the interlock. Now it's an opposite. Now we want to flush the scapula, the back of the heart, with that fresh prana, life force energy, with that fresh thought of releasing. Forgiveness. And then walking your hands forward. Woo, now this may not be in everybody's practice, the heel toe it in. For Malasana, if it's too much on the knees, just come down to the floor any way you can. If you can count, you could sit on a block or a bolster in Malasana. Watch this, can happen in Malasana. We want to try to keep those hips open. I got maybe a better way to do this, although this is awesome. Let's, before we release our back, let's go ahead and extend that left leg out. Turn the right foot in. Twist gently to face that left leg. Hands in the lotus again. Hands at the spiritual eye. Hands at the crown. Lengthen and grow. Use your strap perhaps to really first get the spine elongated and then soften and fold. Forward fold. We did a forward fold with our upper back. Same type of thing in pyramid, but now we're in a different, we're on the ground doing this, a different formation. Every exhale, letting go. I'm going to read the affirmation here. And this is big, so if it's not speaking to you, let it go. Today, this is Yogananda affirmation. The power of will and affirmation will help those rewire the negative grooves, okay? Or whoever is your spiritual thought leader that you're resonating with. Today, I forgive all those who ever offended me. Get that in. Today, I choose to forgive. Today, with the power of grace, I allow and choose to forgive all those who have ever offended me. I give my love to all, both to those who love me and those who do not love me. It's a one way affirmation of forgiveness. Inhale, coming up. Of course, you don't just say it once, right? Twisting and turning, adding yet another twist. I mentioned Tara Brock, Jack Cornfield's forgiveness practices. Those are beautiful as well. Again, which teacher speaks to you? It's going to be the deeper resonance in the heart. For some people, they've told me the St. Francis prayer. Once they level up, they're aware of those, stuck belief patterns. Something, whatever speaks to you. Bending the left knee, or and on the right, extending the right leg. Move the cheeks side to side, so you're on the sit bones. You can sit on a blanket. We're facing toward that right leg. So for many people, they're working in the stages of acceptance is hard, whatever the acceptance is hard. So maybe it's love and acceptance you're working on as you come forward. So be honest with where you're at, seize the strap.
I'm deeply working toward love and acceptance of myself and others. That could be your affirmation. Exhale. For the Nama's forgiveness affirmation today, I forgive all those who have ever offended me. I give my love to all, both to those who love me and those who do not love me. That's too much. I'm working on loving and accepting myself, and I'm loving and accepting others. Ask for grace in that, and we turn it into devotional prayer. But will and reason, devotion, and prayer are the antidotes for the negative looping, and then of course those negative, deeper beliefs that have been, difficult. I'm not saying they're not difficult. We all have the challenges. Inhale, lengthen up, and twist toward that back knee. And coming back. Taking a moment before we release our back. See how this is landing. In the heart center. And our lotus mudra. And our physical healthy yoga practice of releasing literally through the physical, the emotional body to the higher level spirit. It's already here, already whole, already free. Now we're going to ease our bag out, do a couple rolling bridges, twist. I'd love to end with that. Okay. Okay, so let's take our time. Tailbone releases under, low back releases, shimmy, shake it down, low back, mid back, upper back, press, walk your feet in, press to the feet. Notice how that draws the low back in. Reach, oh yeah, the flowers overhead. Reach the arms overhead. And then feel the space all around you. I love to do that Pilates clock, draw the tailbone into the earth at the, we're going to do a 6 and 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, sacrum draws in, 12 o'clock, top of the sacrum. So arcing back and forth between the 6 and the 12 of the clock, imaginary clock around your sacrum. Keep those legs not wobbling a lot, fairly stable. They move a little bit, and then 3 to 9, side to side, hip bone to hip bone. But think of more your low back. Release it. Okay, we're gonna do some bridge flows. I think we love the bridge in this class. I know I love to do it daily. Feet again. Large toes are in now. Plug in through those same horseshoe points. When you're touched in the ground, arms are down by your side. Inhale, inner thighs magnetizing toward one another as we lift up. Up, pulse down one time, but then engage again. And then you decide if you want those arms to come up, shoulder blades plug in, palms face one another. You could be here. We're really talking about what this bridge pose represents, that when those negative thought loops come in, we can unloop, we can change the needle of our mind to get out of that negative groove, because we know in neuropsychologies and the yoga masters know this, we keep creating those same negative loops, and they get deeper and deeper and deeper. But the good news is we can release them. Consciously releasing them through the power of thought. I'm saying it again and again because it's really important. Catching it is a big one.
let it go, let it go, let it go. And then let God in, divine in, add your upliftment 1 or 2 minutes. Have something you're gonna say and go to that speaks to your heart, that has a freedom in it. So this bridge pose, as we'll do again, is a bridge as we inhale, lift off of our thoughts to our consciousness. And we need to catch ourselves throughout the day. Kind of amazing once you get into this, you know, how much of that is going on. Oh my goodness, we don't want to shame or guilt trip us with what we're working on, right? Or that's part of what neuropsych has found out, that we have this negativity bias again, you know, for safety and protection, but it's just gone a little bit too far, releasing down. But thank goodness we can replace that breathe. So right now, either Supta Baddha Konasana or constructive rest, depending if you have low back issues, draw the feet wider, the knees in. If the low back's okay, what are you bringing in for your positive, for your uplifting affirmation? Now this comes to you. And you can be working on this. If nothing lands right now, just be open to what is going to help me let go, let God. Go higher. As we finish with our double knee twist, arms out wide, heart wide, feet wide on the outside corners of the mat. First, plug in the spine for a moment. This next affirmation is one of my favorites. If that works for you to move on higher. Knees go to the right. And that left arm comes up and over. So notice when that left arm comes up straight up by the ear, you're already getting this wonderful stretch through the left side. You want to continue on or stay there. Divine life is within me and all around me. It's usually about getting bigger than our individual self, right? The yoga practice, the union does that. Something much greater. Divine life is within me and all around me. Whatever that greater is, whatever that philosophy or system is for you, you practice it, you study it. I'm a big fan of committed practices. Help us to open, and we've been time tested. We're not making it up ourselves. Engage the core. Take a moment when we windshield wiper the legs back up to reset the spine. Move down and then over to the other side. Heart open. Big exhale. Take your time with that right arm coming up. And feel that stretch to the right side, maybe sweeping even more. Divine life is within me and all around me. Divine life is within me and all around me. That's what affirmation, what reading, what scripture, what poetry speaks to you, what practices speak to you as you engage the core. What yoga does, because you wouldn't be here. Reset the spine. Tuning in, what is going to be beneficial for my Shavasana pose today? Is it constructive press like this? Is it feet on the ball or a chair? Is it legs up the wall? You know the choices. The bolster on the spine. Hug the knees in before we do that. With your body for all you can do. We're really working on the mental, emotional, and then the spiritual, which is, of course, all parts of ourselves, but we're having and continuing to return to that higher note of spiritual awareness. And it's free, and it's here, and it seems complicated, but it's easy. It's just training ourselves to come back. So I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna drink water and get yourself all cozy and nesting and digesting. Move lots of stuff around. Remembering who we really are. Oh, yeah. Anything that helps you in this practice. It's interesting. It's corpse pose. It's corpse pose, and we're dying to the little self, limited personal self. Okay. Depending on your position, we'll do the top down. Oh, wonderful opening of the upper chakras, crown, expanding. The sky, the stars, the sun, the moon, space. Softening the forehead and softening the eyes so that gentle, the two become one, that gentle focus of the spiritual eye within, but not knitted at the brow, like almost remember that arm width out in front of you. So you're just focusing right at the spiritual eye, but out. And in the yoga philosophy, the Christ center, the Kush, this is really important, the spiritual eye, to let yourself just rest in that higher vibration and that light. It's okay if you don't see the light is there, like the sun. Let the jaw relax, soften. And feel on your next inhale the cool air coming in through the nostrils and coolness of the spiritual eye. And then the warmth on the exhale. And the warmth through the nostrils, through the throat, and up into the warmth of the heart. So we're softening through the shoulders, the throat. Radiant sensation down the arms. And resting in the natural peace of the heart. Remembering who you are. Soul is already whole, already free, already aware. Feel the ribs ventilating, bringing into that heart center compassion to ourselves, to others. There can be tenderness in it, there could be grief and loss, there could be vulnerability, letting it all be here and held in compassion and love. Breathing deep into the belly, low back. Yeah,
If this affirmation speaks to you from Yogananda, the blood in my body is God. The reason in my mind is God. The love in my heart is God. Everything that exists is coming from God, from the source, from creation. Resting deeply, your back body, if it's touching the earth, let that get heavier. Perhaps your front body lighter. Your radiant sensation streamlining down the legs, softening the knees, the calves, the ankles, all the way through to the soles of the feet, digits of the toes. Resting in the truth of who you are. It's formless. And I deeply love and accept myself. And working toward that and working toward loving and accepting others. Forgiving all those who ever offended me. And just notice if it's time for you to transition to movement. Of course, it's not necessary if you're in a deep state of rest and want to stay there. But if you are ready to transition, just do so with so much tenderness, like curling. It's important to curl to the side for a moment in that child's pose. To the side, knees to chest, to the giving yourself literally that positioning of tender caring. These poses are so symbolic of what each one does. There's a deeper meaning than the outer shape. The shape gives us that permission to move into it. And if it's time for you to gradually come up, welcome to. And we'll send those prayers of care to others through the the O, the sound, visualizing. We'll do it 3 times. Visualizing those who'd like to send healing energy to. It could be through the intention. It could be by generating some heat in your hands. And the sound is coming from the belly, heart, upper chakras. Inhale. And bring the hands to the heart in either classic namaste or perhaps a lotus flower. Padmasana it's called, bowing to the wisdom of your heart, recognizing that in others truly, that's where we are one. As we bow to the wisdom of our heart and recognize that in others. And I will just officially turn the recording off right now and see if anybody wants to join in.